Is it true that Roman slaves had more holidays than modern Americans? Imagine a world where slaves, yes, slaves, might have had more holidays than you do today. Sounds absurd, right? But what if I told you, in ancient Rome, there were over 100 festival days a year, and some historians claim workers back then had more time off than the average American employee. So is this just a rumor or actually true? Let's dig into the fascinating and controversial world of Roman holidays, slaves, and what time off really meant 2,000 years ago.
A calendar of ceaseless celebration. The Romans loved to celebrate. Their year was full of festivals, feast days, and religious holidays that honored their many gods. By the 2nd century AD, there were said to be more than 130 holidays in a single year, almost 1/3 of the whole calendar. That means on many days, work stopped, shops closed, and people filled the streets with music, food, and joy. One of the most famous festivals was Saturnalia, held in December. During this time, people wore bright clothes, gave gifts, and even switched roles. Masters served their slaves, and laughter filled every home. Other celebrations, like Lupercalia and Parentalia, were also big parts of Roman life, filled with prayers, games, and banquets. For a moment, it might sound like everyone in Rome lived a happy, festive life. But here's the truth. Not everyone got to enjoy these holidays. While some celebrated, others still worked, watching the joy from a distance.
Inside the life of a Roman slave. Slavery was the heart of the Roman Empire. Almost 1 out of every 3 people in Italy was a slave. But not all slaves lived the same life. Some worked in rich houses, cleaning rooms, cooking food, or serving at big feasts. A few even helped teach children or handle money. If they were lucky and loyal, they could sometimes earn their freedom. But life outside the city was much harder. Farm slaves worked from sunrise to sunset with no break. In the mines and on ships, the work was painful and never-ending. They had no weekends, no rest, and no choice. So when people say Roman slaves had holidays, we have to ask, which slaves do they mean? The few living in comfort, or the thousands who never got a single day off?
When the master served the slave. Now, imagine this. The streets of Rome glowing with lamps, music echoing through every corner, and masters running around serving food to their slaves. Sounds crazy, right? But this actually happened during the festival of Saturnalia. For one wild week in December, Rome forgot all its rules. Slaves dressed like free men, wore colorful clothes, and joined their masters at the table. They ate, drank, and even made fun of their owners without getting punished. It was a week of joy, madness, and laughter. Everyone pretended the world had turned upside down. Even the gods were believed to smile at this playful chaos. But then, the week ended. The laughter faded. The fancy clothes came off. And the masters went back to giving orders. That short taste of freedom vanished like a dream. It's shocking, isn't it? For 7 days, a slave could speak like a king, but on the 8th, he was reminded who really ruled Rome. Not all holidays are equal. Here's where things take a twist. You might think 135 holidays a year sounds like paradise, but not for everyone. For many slaves, holiday was just another word for extra work. While the rich danced, drank wine, and threw parties, their slaves were busy cooking feasts, cleaning halls, and serving endless plates of food. Some didn't even know what a day off felt like. There were no weekends, no fixed hours, no rest days. The sun was their clock. When it rose, work began. When it set, their bodies ached in silence. Imagine hearing laughter echoing from the villa while you scrub the floors for the party you can never join. That was the truth for thousands. So yes, Rome might have had holidays, but not for those who kept the empire running. Freedom, it turns out, wasn't given by the calendar. It was decided by your class and by who owned your time. Let's compare empires. Roman time off versus modern American worker. All right, time to test the rumor. Who really had more time off, a Roman slave or a modern American worker? Today, the average US worker gets about 10 paid holidays a year plus weekends. That's roughly 115 days of rest. Sounds fair, right? Now, jump back to ancient Rome. Their calendar showed around 130 holidays, way more. But here's the trick. Most slaves didn't rest at all. While free citizens danced at festivals, slaves were busy cooking, cleaning, and serving food to keep those parties alive. Some lucky city workers might have finished by noon, enjoying a calm afternoon. But out in the fields or deep in the mines, slaves worked from sunrise to sunset. No breaks, no mercy. So yes, Rome looked like a land of celebration, but for most slaves, it was all an illusion. On paper, they had more holidays. In reality, they barely had a single free moment.
What this tells us about freedom, work, and society. So, did Roman slaves really have more holidays than modern Americans? Well, maybe on paper. Their calendar was full of festival days, but the truth is far darker. Those colorful celebrations, the laughter, the feasts, they mostly belonged to the rich. For the slaves who cooked the food and cleaned the floors, those holidays were just more work. Freedom wasn't counted by the number of days off. It was something most people never felt at all. And yet, there's something touching about it too. Even in a world ruled by cruelty and chains, people still found moments to dance, to pray, to celebrate life, even if it was brief. Maybe that's the real lesson hidden in history. It's not about how many holidays we have, but whether we're free enough to enjoy them. Because a full calendar means nothing if your heart and hands still belong to someone else. So guys, that's all for today. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Mist of History,